We're at the airport, we're safe now, and we've gone through security. Don't worry, EJ isn't carrying anything he's not supposed to. And here's the thing, is like, our flight is actually going to get there about 20 minutes earlier, so there's a chance we can make today's race. I'm going to build my bike as fast as I can once we get there. If all goes well, I'll be able to race today, we'll see.
All exits are marked with red and white signs. In a dark cabin, floor level lighting will mark the route to the exit. Take a moment to look around and locate the nearest exit.
We did it. We got some time. Maybe today's race day. Wasn't planning it, but now maybe I'm planning it.
Let's get an Uber and find out. See where it takes us. You as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julian.
Thanks, Julian. We're here. The race starts very soon. I'm gonna try to put my bike together and register. I'm not 100% confident about jumping on my bike in one of the hardest races of the year, but we'll see.
You saved my ass.
Hey.
I was gonna fucking say.
Use your eyes. We're quite tangled. Oh, my tires look.
All right, welcome to Crit Racing in Chicago. This is the Winfield stage of the Intelligentsia Cup. And look, this is U.S. crit racing at a national level. I'd been preparing for this ever since my crash earlier this season. Fitness was great, but this year seems sketchier than usual. This is definitely not the last time I was in the pit. We have 5 stages. We're going to talk about each one. And look, I have a lot of thoughts about this year at the Intelligentsia Cup. This is my 3rd time I've been doing it. The first time on Team Mike's bikes, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just dive into the footage. This is the Winfield stage of the 2022 Intelligentsia Cup. And first, let's talk about the course. This is an incredibly short course. I think it's less than 1 kilometer, and there's like over 100 people in this field. So right off the bat, that combination makes the racing less about the racing. It doesn't really reward good cornering, good bike handling, technical skills, that sort of thing. It becomes a battle of who's the best at dive bombing corners, pushing their way into gaps that don't exist, that sort of thing. And as a result, short courses and big fields like this usually end up with more crashes. I mean, this crash was only 7 laps into this race. It took out 50 or 60 riders in this field. In fact, I didn't even have the GoPros running. I hit somebody so hard in front of me, they somehow turned the GoPro on. And this wasn't the final crash in this race. So as I'm leaving the pit, getting let back into the race here, let's talk about the right way to do it. But first of all, I just came off a big crash earlier this season. I am not willing to fight that battle of elbows and shoulders. So here we are, we're back in the race. And if you check the rear cam, here comes teammate Chris. Now, he's going to lead us up to the front. And now this is an opportunity I want to talk about the right way to do things. On the right side, there's a gap. This almost never exists. We're going to talk more about this. But Chris is shooting this gap. I'm jumping on my teammate's wheel. You have to take advantage of opportunities like this when they present themselves in a big field on a small course like this. Gap up the right side. You can see how quickly that got pinched off. Look, sprint if you have to. You have to take those opportunities, make up as much ground as possible. In fact, I could have done a better job here, right? Like, now Chris is 30 wheels ahead of me. Like, I could have been in a much better position. And this is why it's so important to capitalize on those opportunities. Just the next lap later, you can see, like, where am I supposed to go in this situation? There's just nowhere. You have to just, like, push your front wheel into those little gaps that don't really exist. And because if you don't, everyone around you is going to do that. You're going to lose all of that good position that you fought really hard to make up. And like always, it's never a bad idea to find somebody who's willing to pop out in the wind when it's single file like this. And we're doing 34 miles an hour. This guy in the red's going to give me a little bit of draft as I make up a few more positions on the left. and try to come up and find some teammates towards the front of this race because I want to maintain good position. What you don't want to do is be like right in the middle. If you're towards the front or if you're towards the back, you're usually having a much better time through these corners. It's not so stop and go. So I'm just trying to get to like the top 15 riders here, and I'm in pretty good company here. Here's the best buddies rider, Michael Hernandez, in the red, white, and blue national champion. So getting closer to the front, but you can just see how quickly it can all be given back. I've seemingly nowhere to go, but riders on my right and on my left, both passing me, and you fight. Look at this. I mean, all these dive bombers on the left coming into corner number 1, a left-hander, and it's like I just lost even more. I mean, as I'm saying this, I'm losing more and more positions. So what I'm going to do is I found my teammate here in front of me. This is Ryan, and now we're going to try to work together to get back up towards the front because now we're about 8 laps to go. So what do? We're going to look for these opportunities like I talked about before to find a gap, try to shoot through that gap, or find somebody who's willing to move up and allow us to sit in their draft and move up. Because Ryan and I, we're going to be a powerful duo in this series. We haven't had a good opportunity to race together. I was injured most of the season. And really, honestly, I could be tighter on his wheel right here. I think I was a little bit spooked from the crash earlier on. That almost took me out. But it looks like he's looking for an opportunity on the right, just like Chris and I did a couple laps before this to move up. But, man, it just gets so tight. Like, where are you supposed to go? And he gets pushed into the grass, goes back to his mountain biking roots, and he saves it from a crash. I mean, good bike handling there just to keep it upright because you just never know, like, what's underneath that grass if you're just going to hit a mailbox or something. Because somebody in this race did hit a mailbox. I did not have the GoPros running at the time. That was pretty terrifying. But anyway, glad Ryan didn't go down. But now we're like 6 laps to go, 7 laps to go. And I'm kind of on my own right here, and I really need to make up a lot of ground in order to have a good look at this sprint finish. And I'll be honest with you guys, I just never got in the rhythm on this course. A little spooked maybe from the crash earlier on. Also, just like hit the ground running here in Chicago. Oh my God, not willing to take risks like that guy just did. So with 1 lap to go, I'm sitting like 35th wheel, and I've just thought to myself, like, why even? You know what I mean? Like, what am I fighting for? I'm not going to get a result in this race. Here's another way to think about it. Those front riders, I just counted, they are 7 seconds ahead of me. We have 1,300 more meters to go, 1,400 meters to go. They are doing like 35 miles an hour. They're all leading out their teammates, right? Those are lead-out trains. They're doing probably 600-800 watts on average. So in the course of 1,400 meters, am I going to make up 7 seconds while the front riders are doing 35 miles an hour and 800 watts? The answer is no. I don't care how strong you are. So no one to hold them, no one to fold them. I decided at this point it was time to fold them. It's just not worth the risk. So I pulled off to the left, called it a day at Winfield. And as I did, I'd realize, look how long this line of riders is behind. This field is insane. It's like a snake eating its own tail. But anyway, that was it for me at Winfield. Stage 1 for me. I think it was the 3rd stage of the Intelligentsia Cup. But look, we have 5 more that I participated in. The courses get much more exciting, much more dynamic. We get more and more confident through the series. So be sure to hang in there. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.